Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin exhibits an overall upward trend. The price has consistently tested and bounced off the support level of $104,100, and the forecast for the next week indicates a continuation of this upward momentum, fluctuating around $109,000 to $110,300. The RSI consistently above 60 suggests bullish sentiment, nearing overbought territory. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price is currently near the upper band, indicating potential for a pullback but also suggesting continued bullish strength if it remains above the center band. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy with a focus on capitalizing on the anticipated upward trend while incorporating risk management. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $109,200. Given the RSI nearing 80 and the price near the upper Bollinger Band, I'll set a tight stop loss at $108,800 to protect against a potential pullback. The initial target price will be $109,700, aligning with the forecast high for the week and providing a reasonable profit margin. If the price breaks through $109,700 and sustains above it, I will adjust the target price to $110,300, capturing the full extent of the forecast range. This strategy combines RSI and Bollinger Band signals with support and resistance levels to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a clear upward trend. The price has consistently tested the 2520 support level and has been approaching the 2740 resistance. The RSI consistently above 60 indicates a bullish momentum. The forecast for the next week predicts a continued upward trajectory, with prices potentially reaching 2820. Considering the RSI and Bollinger Bands, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price should be $2,680, placing the stop loss at $2,650 to protect against potential pullbacks. The initial target price is $2,740, aligning with the resistance level. To maximize potential returns, I suggest a tiered target strategy. Once the first target of $2,740 is hit, move the stop loss to the entry price of $2,680. The second target price is $2,810, based on the forecast. If that target is achieved, consider trailing the stop loss to protect profits. This approach combines the strength of the upward trend with risk management techniques, aiming for high returns while minimizing potential losses. The portfolio will prioritize the long position strategy due to its alignment with the overall bullish trend and favorable technical indicators. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slightly downward trend, with the forecast prices consistently below the recent closing prices. The RSI fluctuates around 50, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper band but generally remaining within a defined range. Considering these factors, I propose a conservative strategy focusing on short-term movements within the established support and resistance levels. We will implement a combined strategy using RSI and Bollinger Bands. The primary strategy will be based on the RSI. When the RSI falls below 20, oversold, we will enter a long position at $2.25+. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $2.23+, and the initial target price will be the resistance level at $2.35+. If the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, we will consider taking partial profits at $2.28+. This approach balances the potential for gains with risk mitigation, capitalizing on short-term bounces while protecting against further downside. This combined strategy offers a high probability, moderate return investment opportunity. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows an overall upward trend, consistently testing and bouncing off the support price of $682. The RSI values fluctuate but generally remain above 50, indicating a bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Given the forecast prices trending upwards, I propose a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $686, placing a stop loss order at $682 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price will be $694, based on the forecast for May 29, 2025. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 20, oversold, we will consider entering a long position. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, overbought, we will consider exiting the current long position or shorting. The Bollinger Bands will serve as dynamic support and resistance levels. If the price touches the lower band, it could signal an oversold condition, reinforcing a potential long entry. If the price touches the upper band, it could signal an overbought condition, prompting a potential exit or short. We will adjust the target price to $699 based on the forecast for June 1, 2025, and ultimately to $702 based on the forecast for June 4, 2025. This combined approach, utilizing trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Bands, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows a generally upward trend with fluctuations. The price has consistently remained above the 150 support level, indicating strong buying pressure. The RSI consistently hovering around 60 suggests that the asset is neither significantly overbought nor oversold, indicating a balanced market condition. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increasing volatility and potential price movement. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices ranging from $172 to $176, a bullish strategy is warranted. Therefore, I recommend a long position entry at $172. Given the recent price action and the forecast, a reasonable stop loss would be placed at $165 to protect against unexpected downturns. The initial target price should be $176, aligning with the recent resistance level and the upper end of the forecast range. If the price continues to rise, a secondary target of $182 can be considered, based on the upper Bollinger Band. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI assessment, and Bollinger Band observations to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a slight upward trend, fluctuating within the support of $0.182 and the resistance of $0.245. The RSI has generally been between 53 and 66, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening and narrowing, suggesting periods of increased and decreased volatility. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to remain relatively stable, hovering around $0.225 to $0.23. Therefore, I propose a moderately bullish strategy focusing on short-term gains. My strategy involves entering a long position when the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, and exiting when the RSI reaches 70, signaling an overbought state. Given the current RSI around 55, we'll wait for an opportune moment. For now, let's set a buy order at $0.223. The stop loss will be placed just below the support level at $0.182, specifically at $0.181, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be set near the resistance level at $0.245, aiming for a profit of $0.022. If the price reaches $0.245, we can reassess the situation and potentially set a second target closer to the upper Bollinger Band, around $0.248, for an additional profit of $0.003. This combined strategy leverages RSI for entry and exit signals, support and resistance for target prices, and Bollinger Bands for additional profit potential. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano has been fluctuating within a range, bouncing between the support price of $0.744 and the resistance price of $0.808. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently neither significantly oversold nor overbought, fluctuating around the 50 level. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, suggesting potential volatility. Considering the recent downward trend in the forecast prices, specifically the decline from $0.766 to $0.745 over the next week, a cautious and strategic approach is warranted. I recommend a short position when the price reaches $0.766, with a stop loss set at $0.748 to protect against a sudden reversal. The initial target price should be $0.748, capitalizing on the predicted downward movement. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 20, signaling an oversold condition, we will consider a long position at $0.748, with a stop loss at $0.746 and a target price of $0.755. Conversely, if the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands and the RSI is below 30, we will enter a long position at $0.745, with a stop loss at $0.746 and a target price of $0.755. If the price breaks above the resistance level of $0.808 and the RSI exceeds 80, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider a short position at $0.808, with a stop loss at $0.81 and a target price of $0.78. This blended approach combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Bands for a more robust and adaptable investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight upward trend with consistent trading within a defined range. The RSI values fluctuate between 58 and 67, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been relatively stable, with the price occasionally touching the upper band. Considering the forecast data, the price is expected to hover around $0.273 to $0.274. Therefore, I recommend a moderate long position strategy focusing on short-term gains. Entry price should be $0.273, with a stop loss at $0.269, just below the support level. The target price should be $0.278, aiming for a small profit within the resistance level. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI dips below 60, it suggests a potential buying opportunity. For instance, on May 25, 2025, the RSI was 59.7. In this case, we can enter a long position at $0.267, set a stop loss at $0.264, and target $0.275. Combining these approaches, the most efficient portfolio will involve a mix of the initial strategy and RSI-driven entries. This diversified approach can mitigate risk and maximize potential returns, capitalizing on both the overall trend and short-term volatility. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui has shown volatility with periods of upward and downward movement. The RSI fluctuating between 45.4 and 63.5 indicates neither strongly oversold nor overbought conditions recently. Considering the forecast for the next week, which predicts a slight downward trend with prices ranging from 3.71 to 3.78, I propose a cautious short-term strategy. We will implement a combined strategy incorporating RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. My recommendation is to initiate a short position at $3.74. The stop loss should be set slightly above the upper Bollinger Band at $3.78 to protect against unexpected upward movements. The initial target price is the support level of $3.55, offering a reasonable profit margin. If the price reaches the support level, we will reevaluate the situation. If the price shows signs of rebounding, we will adjust the stop loss to the break-even point and consider a second target price near the $3.71 level, capitalizing on potential upward corrections. This combined approach leverages multiple technical indicators to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a sideways trend with fluctuations around the $15.5 to $16.5 range. The RSI consistently hovers around the 50 level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening slightly, suggesting increasing volatility. Considering the support price of $15.3 and the resistance price of $17.4, we can implement a range-bound trading strategy. I recommend entering a long position at $15.6, placing a stop loss at $15.3 just below the support level, and setting a target price at $16.7, near the resistance level. This strategy aims to capitalize on short-term price swings within the established range. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, oversold, consider a long entry. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 70, overbought, consider a short entry. Furthermore, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it may indicate an oversold condition, signaling a potential buying opportunity. If the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, it may indicate an overbought condition, signaling a potential selling opportunity. Combining these indicators with the support and resistance levels, I suggest entering a long position at $15.7, setting a stop loss at $15.3, and targeting $16.7. This blended approach should provide a more robust and adaptive strategy for Chainlink trading. Based on the historical data and forecast, Injective exhibits a clear uptrend. The price has consistently moved above the $14.1 support level, and the forecast indicates further gains towards $16.1. The RSI fluctuates around 60, indicating a moderately strong momentum, not yet overbought. Bollinger Bands show that the price is approaching the upper band, suggesting a potential pullback, but the overall trend remains upward. Therefore, I propose a long-term investment strategy focusing on capitalizing on the ongoing uptrend. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $14.6, coinciding with the start of the forecast period. Given the strong support at $14.1, a stop loss should be placed at $14.1 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price is set at $15.8, aligning with the forecast high for June 4, 2025. If the price continues to rise, a second target price of $16.1 can be considered. This strategy combines the momentum from the RSI, the trend confirmation from the historical data, and the price projections from the Bollinger Bands for optimal risk-reward ratio. Based on the historical data and forecast, ApeCoin shows a generally upward trend with recent volatility. The RSI readings have fluctuated but haven't consistently reached oversold or overbought levels, indicating a neutral to slightly bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price swings. The forecast data predicts a continued upward movement, with prices potentially reaching $0.763. Combining these indicators, I recommend a long position strategy. The entry price should be $0.707, coinciding with the support level and the start of the forecast period. A stop loss should be placed at $0.681, just below the recent low and slightly outside the lower Bollinger Band to protect against unexpected downturns. The initial target price is $0.755, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a reasonable profit target based on the forecast. If the price breaks through $0.755, a trailing stop loss can be implemented to capture further gains, aiming for a final target of $0.763 based on the forecast high. This strategy combines trend analysis, volatility assessment, and RSI considerations for a balanced approach to maximizing returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance demonstrates an upward trend, consistently testing and surpassing the 0.842 support level. The RSI values have been oscillating above 50, with recent readings nearing 64.3, indicating strengthening momentum. The forecast prices predict continued growth, reaching 0.973 by June 4, 2025. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position. Entry price should be $0.911. The stop loss should be set just below the support level at $0.85 to protect against potential pullbacks. The initial target price is $0.963, aligning with the forecast price for June 2, 2025. To further refine the strategy, we can incorporate the Bollinger Bands. The price has been fluctuating within the bands, suggesting moderate volatility. When the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential buying opportunity, and when it touches the upper band, it signals a potential selling opportunity. I suggest adjusting the target price to $0.973, aligning with the forecast price for June 4, 2025, as the price approaches the upper Bollinger Band. This combined strategy leverages momentum, trend confirmation, and volatility indicators for optimal risk-reward management. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum name service shows a generally upward trend with some volatility. The support price consistently remains at $21.9, while the resistance fluctuates around $24.7. The RSI values mostly hover between 54.0 and 65.6, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands show increasing volatility, with the upper band fluctuating between $24.5 and $26.3 and the lower band between $15.0 and $21.1. Considering the forecast prices, which predict a steady increase towards $24.9, I recommend a long position strategy. My strategy involves entering a long position at $23.7. The stop loss should be placed just below the support level at $21.7 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price is set at $24.5, based on the resistance level and the forecast price. If the price breaks through $24.5, the target price can be adjusted to $24.9, aligning with the forecast. The RSI indicates a moderate buying pressure, and the Bollinger Bands suggest that the price may continue to rise within the upward trend. This strategy combines technical indicators and price forecasts to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Tezos shows a slight upward trend. The RSI fluctuates between 50 and 58, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest that the price is currently near the middle band, with the forecast showing a potential move towards the upper band. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position at $0.639. The stop loss will be set at $0.635, just below the support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.65, aligning with the forecast and a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 20, oversold, we'll consider a long entry. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, overbought, we'll consider a short entry. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it's a buy signal, and if it touches the upper Bollinger Band, it's a sell signal. For this particular scenario, we'll maintain the long position initiated at $0.639, with a stop loss at $0.635. If the price reaches $0.65, we'll take partial profits and adjust the stop loss to break even. If the forecast continues to be positive, we will raise the target price to $0.676. This combined approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on both trend following and momentum signals. Based on the historical data and forecast, Zcash demonstrates a clear upward trend, supported by consistently breaching the resistance level of $54.8 and the forecast indicating further price increases. The RSI values have generally remained above 50, with periods exceeding 70, suggesting bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have also widened, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $53.4, with a stop loss placed at $51.9 to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $56.6, aligning with the forecast for June 4, 2025. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI signals. If the price dips and the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at $53, with a stop loss at $51.4 and a target price of $55.4. Conversely, if the price rises and the RSI exceeds 80, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider taking profits or tightening our stop loss. The portfolio will prioritize the long position strategy based on the upward trend and forecast, adjusting entry and target prices based on RSI signals to maximize returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Eigenlayer shows a generally upward trend with price fluctuations. The support price consistently holding at $1.4 reinforces this stability. The RSI values, though fluctuating, generally stay above 50, indicating a bullish momentum. The forecast prices for the next week are consistently above the recent closing prices, suggesting a continued upward trajectory. We will implement a combined strategy utilizing RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. Our primary strategy will be a momentum-based approach. We will enter a long position at $1.54 when the price briefly dips towards the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI falls slightly below 60, capitalizing on a potential bounce. The stop loss will be set at $1.43, just above the support level, to protect against a potential reversal. Our initial target price is $1.74, aligning with the forecast price for June 4, 2025. If the price reaches this target, we will reassess the situation and consider a trailing stop loss to capture further gains. This strategy aims to leverage the anticipated upward trend while mitigating risk through strategic stop loss placement. Based on the historical data and forecast, Quant shows a strong uptrend. The price has consistently broken through resistance levels and the forecast indicates further gains. The RSI is currently above 60, suggesting bullish momentum, and while it has approached overbought territory, it hasn't crossed 80. The Bollinger Bands are widening, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Therefore, I recommend an aggressive long-term investment strategy. We will initiate a long position at $112, coinciding with the beginning of the forecast period. A stop-loss order will be placed at $103, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $130, aligning with the forecast high for the week. If the price reaches $130, we will consider moving the stop loss to the entry price of $112 to protect profits and potentially ride further upward momentum. This strategy combines the bullish trend, RSI momentum, and Bollinger Bands volatility to maximize potential returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Uniswap shows a generally upward trend, supported by the recent closing prices and a projected increase in the forecast period. The RSI values fluctuate around 50, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions recently. However, the forecast suggests a continued upward trajectory, and the Bollinger Bands show periods of expansion and contraction, signaling potential volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy focusing on capitalizing on the expected upward movement while managing risk. My strategy involves a staged entry approach. Initially, enter a long position at $6.48. Set a stop-loss order at $6.3 to protect against a potential downside reversal. The first target price is $6.9, aligning with the forecast price and recent resistance levels. If the price reaches $6.9, consider a partial profit taking and adjust the stop-loss to the entry price, essentially locking in gains. If the price continues to rise beyond $6.9, a second target price of $7.31 can be set, based on the upper Bollinger Band. This multi-stage approach allows for maximizing potential profits while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss adjustments. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a fluctuating trend with a slight upward bias. The RSI values range between 42.1 and 58.3, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been oscillating, suggesting continued volatility. Considering the support price of $3.18 and resistance of $4.11, I propose a strategy combining RSI and Bollinger Bands for potential high returns. We will use a combined strategy to maximize efficiency. I recommend a long position entry at $3.11, coinciding with the first forecast price and a relatively low RSI value. Place a stop-loss order at $2.96, just below the recent low and the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, to limit potential losses. Set a target price at $3.33, aligning with the recent high and a potential breakout above the upper Bollinger Band. This strategy aims to capitalize on the anticipated upward momentum while managing risk effectively. The RSI oversold signal provides an entry point, while the Bollinger Bands help define the stop-loss and target levels.